The Galactic Council hall was filled with soft lights, polished crystal floors, and alien diplomats from across the stars. They sat in silence as a large screen displayed the latest species threat report. One by one, the names of hundreds of intelligent species flashed on the screen ranked by danger level. At the very bottom, the word human appeared in soft blue. Threat level: low aggression, minimal technological risk, primitive, recommendation. No action needed. A chuckle passed through the crowd. They grow plants in the dirt and play games with round balls, said Counselor Drex of the Vok Empire, laughing. They are a joke. They have not even mastered interstellar travel, added a tall insectoid named Chirek. Harmless on paper, harmless in truth. The room agreed. The council stamped the file. Earth was not a threat. Far away on the blue planet called Earth, a strange alert blinked in a hidden underground base. Commander Raylan stood before a wide screen, arms crossed, as alien signal data scrolled down in glowing lines. The room around him was deep under the Arctic ice, invisible to satellites. A dozen quiet officers watched him. They've confirmed it, said Raylan. The council marked us harmless. Just like we wanted, another officer said with a smirk. Raylan nodded. Good. And we continue as planned. Behind them, a massive vault door opened. Inside was something no one outside Earth had ever seen, an enormous black spacecraft, smooth like glass and shaped like a dagger. It didn't match Earth's old tech. It was something more. Something built from decades of silence and secrets, not Project Ember. On the surface, the world looked peaceful. People walked streets, watched movies, drank coffee. News headlines talked about climate change, sports, elections, but nothing about aliens. The public believed Earth was alone. Only the top levels of Earth's defense knew the truth. The first alien ship had arrived 50 years ago, just a tiny scout probe, but humans never reported it. Instead, they quietly took it apart and learned. They built copies. They watched alien signals, listened to galactic languages, and learned their strategies. While the galaxy forgot about Earth, Earth studied every species out there. Raylan walked along the observation deck, looking down at the silent black warship below. They think we're slow, weak. A joke, he said. That's what they thought. About wolves, too, replied Major Lyra beside him. Until one bit them. Meanwhile, deep in council space, a curious alien named Varn was assigned to visit Earth as a cultural observer. Unlike other species, humans hadn't joined the galactic network, hadn't sent diplomats, and hadn't replied to signals. That made them curious. Varn arrived in a quiet orbit around Earth and scanned the planet. He saw nothing unusual. His visit to the surface was peaceful. He watched farmers planting fields, children laughing, people sharing meals. He wrote in his report, humans appear social, emotional, and mostly peaceful. Their weapons are simple, and their space travel is limited. They do not seem aware of the larger galaxy. There is no need for concern. Before leaving, Varn noticed something strange. In one of Earth's libraries, he found historical records full of wars, weapons, and revolutions. Entire civilizations had fallen in just days. Cities burned to ash, and leaders replaced overnight. Odd, he whispered. They were once very violent, but they've forgotten it now. Or so he thought. Back in the Arctic base, Commander Raylan stood before a table of generals. The council sent a scout to check us. He said, let him report what he saw. Another general said, it only helps our cover. And the Ember Fleet? Asked Lyra. Raylan pressed a button. Holograms of 5 black warships shimmered into the air. They're almost ready, he said. When the time comes, we won't knock. We'll burn. Pause filled the room. Then Raylan added, let them laugh. Let them call us harmless, just like every empire in Earth's history did, right before they fell. The others nodded. And far above, hidden in Earth's orbit, small black drones watched every alien fleet within 30 light years. 50 years ago, when the first alien probe entered Earth's orbit, it went unnoticed by the world's media. It didn't fire weapons or send messages. It simply scanned, then left. But it wasn't fast enough. Before it could exit Earth's atmosphere, it vanished. Only a few scientists, military leaders, and governments knew the truth. The world kept spinning like normal. But in secret labs, buried under deserts, oceans, and mountains, the truth was locked away. Humans weren't alone, and they weren't unprepared. The small metallic object that had entered Earth's sky decades ago now sat in a reinforced vault beneath Antarctica. Scientists had taken it apart, piece by piece. What they discovered inside changed everything. No fuel, no wiring. It runs on dark energy particles, said a younger Raylan back then, staring at it. This isn't just advanced. It's magic. Compared to us. From that day forward, Project Ember was born. Hidden from the public, hidden from politicians. Controlled only by a global shadow group known simply as Command Corps. The goal? Not to fight aliens. To outgrow them. In the present, Varn's small ship floated out of Earth's atmosphere. He tapped his datapad, writing his final report. Humans are kind and peaceful. I detected no deep space warships, no unusual transmissions, only natural defenses. They live simple lives and celebrate emotions like hope, family, and freedom. He paused. He didn't include the old history files he found, the ones full of violence, chaos, and destruction. I suppose they've moved past that now, he whispered to himself. But far below him, just under the Arctic ice, Earth's new war fleet was being loaded with antimatter weapons and ghost drives technology. Even the Council didn't fully understand, not in a Black Ops base in orbit around Saturn. Commander Raylan stood before a high-ranking group of Earth's hidden leadership. This is Varn's ship, he said, pointing to a small glowing dot on the screen. We're letting him leave. Let him carry the lie back to the Council. And if they send more? Someone asked. They won't. They trust their rankings too much, Raylan replied. They called us harmless. It's printed in their doctrine. Changing that now would make them look weak. But we can't hide forever, Lyra added. Raylan nodded. We don't plan to. Meanwhile, in the Galaxy's Central Archive Tower, Varn's report was uploaded. The Council AI scanned it quickly. Harmless, it said aloud. Approved, replied the head of records. Earth remains unranked in diplomacy and low in threat status. Let's move on. No alarms. No second reviews. No one questioned why Earth still hadn't joined the Galactic Network. Back on Earth, a small team of engineers finished upgrading Ember 1, the first human-built dark spaceship. Its hull was silent, matte black, and entirely invisible to most. Scanners. Inside, it carried quantum relays, cloaked weapon arrays, and a new experimental device called the Reality Anchor. A device designed to freeze time in a small zone. We're not here to invade, said Lyra, running her hand along the cold wall of the ship. We're here to remind the galaxy that wolves don't bark before they bite. Raylan approached and checked the status screen. 2 more months, he said, and we launch our test run. First in the outer belt, then beyond. That night, Varn slept on his return ship, thinking of the humans. He remembered the laughter, the peaceful faces, the music. He had enjoyed Earth. But as he closed his eyes, a strange dream came to him. A vision of fire, of stars burning, of Earth's moon cracking open like glass, revealing a weapon inside. He woke up sweating, but shook it off. It was just a dream. He didn't know that, Just hours ago, Project Ember had tested their newest stealth weapon, one that could slice a moon in half without making a sound. The hidden truth was this: Earth was peaceful. By choice, not because it had to be. The galaxy believed what it saw on the surface. But deep beneath the soil, the old instincts of survival, war, and fire still lived in every human heartbeat, and they were getting ready, not to attack, but to answer when the day came. Asterisk. 3 months after Varn's peaceful visit, silence continued across Earth. Farmers grew crops. Children went to school. Cities buzzed with routine life. But out in the Kuiper Belt, beyond Neptune, a lone Terran cargo ship named Horizon Dawn drifted slowly toward a mining station. It carried ice, oxygen supplies, and food nothing dangerous. No weapons. Just trade goods, or so it seemed. Unaware of hidden eyes watching them, the ship's crew laughed and played cards, unaware they were being hunted. In deep space beyond human territory, a pirate ship from the Trelk species hovered silently. The Trelk were scavengers, opportunistic, cruel, and greedy. To them, Earth was just another weak, unguarded planet. Harmless, the Galactic files said. Easy prey. The Trelk captain grinned. The pirates disabled the Terran freighter's engines and boarded within minutes. Inside, the unarmed human crew surrendered. No weapons. No resistance. The Trelk laughed. Even their warships must be this soft. One sneered. They never noticed the tiny drone that had escaped through the ventilation shaft, streaming live footage back to Earth's hidden defense grid. Commander Raylan stood over a glowing screen in Command Corps' deep chamber. Confirmed visuals. "We have a direct act of aggression," he said coldly. Lyra frowned. "They took hostages." Raylan turned to the operations officer. "Release the Ember response. Single ship, no trace." "Full deletion." The officer nodded. "Yes, sir." Moments later, far from any colony or patrol, space bent. A black shape like a dagger emerged from the void Ember 3. It didn't appear through normal warp. It simply existed. 1 second, there was nothing. The next, a predator in the dark. The Trelk. Pirates never saw it coming. Inside the pirate ship, alarm screamed. "What is that?" "I see nothing on the radar," shouted the navigator. "Shields are falling, but there's no impact, no fire." Then, silence. In less than 7 seconds, the pirate vessel went dark. Its hull cracked open with surgical precision. No fire, no explosion, just clean cuts through metal. Every weapon system had been neutralized before they could activate. The humans were safe. The pirates were not. Ember 3 sent no warnings, no messages. It simply left, a ghost, a weapon the galaxy had never imagined. On the bridge of Ember 3, a pilot named Rika removed her hands from the interface. "They won't know what happened," she said. "Good," replied her commander. "Let them think their ship exploded by accident. Let fear do the rest." Later that night, across the council sectors, a report spread in silence. Pirate crew vanished. Trelk ship destroyed. No traces. No weapons detected. Last known target, Terran. Freighter got the council dismissed it. Mechanical failure, they said. Trelk ships are old. But among fringe species, those who lived close to Terran space, whispers began. Something had changed. In his private study, Varn read the pirate incident file. He narrowed his eyes, just like the scout ship 50 years ago. He whispered. He opened his old Earth notes again. Simple people. Laughing faces. Music. Joy. But something tugged at him. Why did humans never send messages to the council? Why did they never ask to join? Why had Earth stayed silent for so long? And why? Was there still no public knowledge of Earth's defense capabilities? He tried to send a request for more Earth data from the archive. The system responded. Access denied. Record sealed. Back on Earth, the crew of Horizon Dawn sat quietly in a room inside the Arctic base. Their ship had been recovered. Commander Raylan entered, calm but serious. "We thank you for your silence. The incident will not be discussed publicly," he said. One crew member asked, "What was that thing?" "That ship?" Raylan looked at them. "That," he said, "was the quiet growl before the fire wakes." In the cold darkness of space, Earth's other Ember-class ships began to awaken, one by one. Silent shadows now moved along the edge of awe. Known space. Earth had been underestimated for centuries. Now, it was ready. The fire was waking. And the stars would never be the same again. Asterisk in the Grand Hall of the Galactic Council. Debates were loud. Screens flickered with ship logs, missing vessel reports, and unexplained sensor failures, all near the edge of Terran space. "The Trelk ship vanished," said one ambassador, "and the humans say nothing. Maybe it was a black hole," another offered, "or an asteroid strike. They're still classified as non-hostile." "That hasn't changed." But how many coincidences before it's no longer a coincidence? No one had proof, no signals, no weapons detected. Only silence. That was about to change. At the edge of the Milari system, a powerful cruiser from the Galactic Dominion prepared to scan Earth's outer system. Their mission was simple: test Terran defenses. They believed Earth had none. "Let's confirm the weakness," said the Galactic commander, smirking. "Maybe we'll claim a moon as a base." They moved closer. Then their ship systems froze. One by one, their engines shut down. Their weapons locked. Their scanners spun into static. A message appeared on every screen: "Return or burn." The entire crew stared, frozen. Then their ship was pulled gently backward by an unknown force, until it drifted outside the system. When they regained control, the message had disappeared. The crew never spoke of what they saw. But the Galactic Dominion quietly erased its patrol plans near Earth. Back on Earth, Commander Raylan stood before a screen, watching distant systems like a hawk. "Blinked," Lyra said, reading the intercepted Galactic data. "They ran." Raylan gave a thin smile. "Now we send the message." In the Central Galactic Council communication tower, a structure so vast it circled its own star, an alert blared. New signal received. Source: Earth. Counselors and technicians gathered around, confused. Earth had been silent for over 100 years. The signal wasn't audio. It wasn't video. It was something else entirely, a wave of data encrypted with impossible precision. Like a musical puzzle written in a dead language. I tried to decode it. It failed. Then a second signal arrived. This time it was a message. 3 words only. "You miscalculated us." The hall went quiet. No threat. No demand. No apology. Just a fact. A whisper in the dark from the planet they had called weak. Varn, watching from his personal station, sat frozen. He read the message again. "You miscalculated us." He had been the only one to suspect something deeper. Now he knew. "They waited for this," he whispered. "They wanted us to sleep." On many worlds, governments dismissed the message as a prank or data error. But on frontier colonies, on research outposts, and among smugglers and independent captains, the fear began to spread. They had heard stories now of black ships, of vanished pirates, of sensor ghosts, of one sentence from Earth that cracked the silence. And worse, some believed the message wasn't just for the Council. It was a warning to the galaxy. Inside the Ember Fleet Command Bay, Commander Raylan walked down a glowing hallway. Each door led to a control room for one of the 7 Ember ships. Behind one, engineers tested a new stealth module. Behind another, war strategists plotted simulations of Council fleet movement. And deep below, in a soundproof chamber, A machine hummed. A prototype I built not to serve, but to replace ran millions of battle calculations per second. We'll be ready when they finally believe us, Raylan said. And if they don't believe? Lyra asked. Then we remind them, he replied. With fire. Somewhere in deep space, a Council battleship spotted a small Terran beacon floating alone. It carried no defenses. No crew. Just a small box and an open transmission. The day we rise, the stars will remember who laughed first. Number. Name. No signature. Just a cold, quiet truth. Asterisk. A week after Earth's message shook the Council, fleets began to move, not toward peace, but toward silence. The Galactic Dominion launched a 12-ship squadron to observe Earth's orbit. The Council called it a non-aggressive recon exercise. But Earth knew the truth. It was a test, and Earth was ready to answer. Commander Raylan stood inside the launch bay of Ember 1, now fully operational. A massive warship hummed with dark energy, almost silent but impossibly powerful. Lyra approached, helmet in hand. 12 ships, 4 carriers. They're not here to observe. They're here to measure our pulse before they strike. Raylan nodded. Then we show them a heartbeat made of fire. In the darkness of space, the alien fleet reached Pluto's orbit. They spread out like a net scanning for weapons, movement, even whispers. Nothing. Only cold space. This is wasteful, muttered the Galactic commander. These humans have no warships, no defense grid, no fleet. Then the stars shifted. One by one, lights blinked on in space. First, behind Jupiter, and near the asteroid belt, and above Mars. Black ships. Long, sharp, silent. No engine trails, no heat signatures, no radiation. Just presence. 7 of them. On board Ember 1, Raylan looked into the main holoscreen. Lock targets. Do not fire. First, he paused. Let them shoot. Let the galaxy see who truly wanted war. The Galactic flagship panicked. Unknown vessels detected. Stealth design. No ID codes. Weapons hot, shouted an officer. Stand down, yelled the commander. We still have time to. Then one of the junior ships opened fire. By mistake. Or by fear. It was a single pulse beam, and it vanished before reaching Ember 1. Not blocked. Deleted. By a wave of light from the human ship's hull. Then Ember 1 responded. The first retaliation wasn't a missile. It was gravity. A focused micro-singularity tore through space like a blade, folding the Galactic ship in on itself without an explosion, without debris. One moment it was there. The next, gone. The Council fleet froze. Then Ember 2 decloaked that it didn't fire weapons, that it rewrote the coordinates of a Galactic cruiser using a quantum anchor. The cruiser suddenly found itself orbiting Neptune completely. Alone, confused, and powerless. The rest of the fleet tried to run. It was too late. Earth's Ember fleet didn't chase. They simply appeared again, and again, wherever the enemy ships tried to flee. Jumping without portals. Moving without trails. One by one, the Galactic ships were disabled. Not destroyed. Embarrassed. Human. Ships didn't kill unless provoked, but they made sure their message was clear. You cannot win. From the Council's observation. Deck light years away, live feeds cut to black. But before they vanished, one last image was burned into their memory. The Earth fleet. 7 ships. Motionless in space. Behind them, Earth's sun flared unnaturally glowing red, almost angry. It was part of a test, a solar manipulation system, a weapon still in development. But the image would never leave the galaxy's mind. The sky above. Earth had turned red. Not from war, but from warning. Back on Earth, in the control center, Raylan stared silently at the battle logs. No casualties. No damage. No detected energy loss. Lyra reported. Good, he said. Let them carry home the shame. Let them explain why 12 warships failed to scan a single harmless planet. She smiled. What now? He turned slowly to the screen. We give them silence. In council chambers, ambassadors screamed at one another. What were those ships? They used no drives, no energy trails. How is that possible? They didn't fire traditional weapons. One voice said the thing no one wanted to hear. Earth is more advanced than us now. That night, hundreds of alien civilizations received a silent message, a single image, the Earth glowing peacefully in the distance, and behind it, a shadow. Massive, mechanical, watching, a silhouette of a ship the size of a moon. No words, just presence, asterisk across the galaxy. Fear began to spread like wildfire. Every alien channel, from the trade routes of the Cora Belt to the universities of Rylax Prime, buzzed with one name whispered with disbelief. Humans. The race they once mocked. The ones ranked as harmless in every database. Now. They were something else. In the burned-out ruins of the Council's trust, old records were dug up again. Footage from centuries ago, when humanity fought itself in brutal wars, when cities fell overnight and weapons leveled continents. These weren't myths. They were warnings. The signs had always been there. But the Council chose to believe the lie. Humans were weak because they were quiet. They had mistaken discipline for delay. On a backwater planet near Council borders, a small pirate gang watched. Footage of the Ember Fleet's encounter. One leaned in and whispered, "They didn't fire weapons. They removed the ships." Another nodded, stunned. "They're not fighting like us. They're playing a different game." A third pirate simply got up, turned off his comms, and said, "I'm done. I'm never going near Earth again." In a dark chamber aboard Ember 1, Raylan watched the spread of fear unfold on intercepted alien comms. "They finally understand what we are," Lyra said beside him. "No," Raylan replied quietly. "They only understand what we've shown them." He turned toward a screen showing images of Earth, its forests, its cities, its oceans. "We didn't lie to them." He sighed. They lied to themselves. Elsewhere, Varn sat in a private cell. He had been arrested for false reporting, for daring to question the Council's official stance on Earth. Now, those same leaders were panicking, realizing too late that his reports were the only ones that had come close to the truth. He laughed bitterly. "You called me a fool. You called them harmless." The guard outside didn't answer. Instead, Varn was quietly released and handed a sealed document. An invitation. From Earth. Signed, Commander Raylan. Project Ember. Council High Command met in secret. "This isn't just about Earth anymore," said one elder. "If they've passed us technologically, then who controls the stars now?" Another replied, "We thought they were slow, but they've been watching, learning, building. What do we do?" No one answered. Because deep down, they knew the truth. They had called Earth harmless to protect their pride. Now, that lie was burning across the stars. In the core of Earth's Ember control room, something new came online. A system only few knew existed. Beacon 0. Its signal wasn't meant for the Council. It was meant for the forgotten, the species left behind. The colonies ignored by the Council. The oppressed, the abandoned. And Beacon 0 said one thing: Earth sees you. You are not alone. Within hours, small alien groups on fringe planets received Earth's signal. A merchant family on a dying moon cried when they saw it. A refugee station, once raided by pirates, saw the signal and cheered. A broken military ship that had waited years for help whispered. The humans came. But Earth didn't arrive with banners. It arrived with technology. With medicine. With power grids. and with protection. The galaxy had spent centuries calling humanity a child. Now they watched the child feed the hungry, heal the sick, and erase the monsters that the Council had ignored. It wasn't conquest, it was justice. And it scared the powerful more than any weapon ever could. Back aboard Ember 2, a young officer asked Raylan, "Why help them? After all they did to us?" Raylan stared out at the stars. "Because we remember what it felt like to be ignored," he said. "They burned us with silence. Now we burn the lie." He paused, and we light the way forward. The Galactic Council once called Earth a footnote. Now it had become a flame in the Dark One that refused to go out. Their mistake had spread beyond war. It had shaken their belief that they understood the stars, that they controlled who rose and who fell. Now they knew better. In the quiet orbit of a distant world, a single human ship arrived, unannounced. It didn't fire. It didn't speak. It simply hovered above the skies of a dying colony. Within an hour, the planet had energy restored, water filters replaced, and anti-pirate defenses deployed. When the Council asked who authorized this, Earth simply replied, "No one." We saw suffering. A new term began spreading across alien networks, deathworld or shepherds. It wasn't a military title. It meant the predators who chose to protect. Inside the Council's emergency chamber, the elders gathered one last time. They played footage of 7 Ember-class ships hovering silently in the Kuiper Belt. They never attacked us. One ambassador said softly, "They waited for us to strike first. They gave us a chance to see the truth," another added, "and we ignored it. Now they walk the stars without asking." On Earth, Commander Raylan stood atop a quiet cliff, watching the sunrise. Below him, a massive training ground buzzed with activity. New recruits from other species aliens trained in human gear, learning side by side with Terran forces. "They came to us," Lyra said, joining him. "They're not afraid anymore. They trust us." Raylan nodded. "Because we didn't conquer. We helped," she smiled. "The galaxy finally knows." "No," Raylan said. "They've only begun to understand." In the void near Alpha Arcton, where the old Council had once tested weapons on primitive moons, a new monument stood. Built not by Earth, but by dozens of species once forgotten. A massive stone tower floated in space, engraved in every known language, to the species who burned quietly until we saw their fire. Varn, now Earth's first alien ambassador, stood before the Galactic Assembly. He wore a simple suit. No medals, no weapons, no crown, only truth. "You feared humans because they didn't speak," he said. "You called them harmless because they didn't roar. But lions do not roar while stalking." He paused. "They could have broken you, but they chose to guide you." Silence. Then slow applause. Then standing ovation. On the edge of known space, Ember 1 floated alone. Not on patrol, not in war. Just watching. Waiting. Because Earth wasn't looking for enemies anymore. It was watching for those who needed a hand, and guarding the stars for those who had none. Back on Earth, school children now studied alien languages alongside math and history. Maps no longer showed countries, but star systems. And a new motto was printed on every official fleet banner: "Seen as prey, returned as protectors." The galaxy had judged humanity by old rules. Now those rules were ash. And from the ashes, Earth rose not as a conqueror, but as a force that changed the stars forever. Asterisk